What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video here. Going over a Boba Blue deck. Kind of a weird pairing, but I found some pretty fun lines in Boba Blue. So I am a person who owns zero, or actually I own one Boba Fett the unit, um, but he's in a different deck at the moment, and I don't really think he's super necessary for this deck, even though he's amazing. We're not really running the exhaust package like Asteroid Sanctuary, Cartel Spacer, etc. We're not really going that route. So I think we're doing a control deck here that doesn't really require that Boba Fett, but I still want to play Boba Fett because I own 3 Fett's Fire Spray and I want to put this ship into play sometime. So this is what we came up with. So it's kind of a blue-yellow control deck. Blue-yellow both have really good control pieces, but we're really leaning into the blue side of the control pieces. Sprinkling in a few yellow cards here and there to kind of help us push that envelope. But let's go over the early game. So for early game, we just have these 4 units right here, 3 of each: 3 Greedo, 3 Inferno 4, 3 Bib Fortuna, and 3 Viper Probe Droids. So Greedo, obviously 3/1, and we're running a decent amount of events in this deck, so he can possibly trigger his ability. Just a solid card to have. Inferno 4 lets us dig for answers, so if we know we're going against something very specific, we can look at the top 2 cards of our deck on play and when defeated and really try to filter our hand. Bib is shielded and can reduce the cost of events, which is great. And then Probe Droid, just a decent 2-drop for 3/2, and you get a little hand knowledge. Helps you go against control a little bit. Overall, I'm not super happy with these drops. I think they're decent. I don't really know if there's too much better right now. I'm hoping that maybe this deck and this archetype can find some better support pieces coming up. And I already we're starting to get set 2 spoilers. There's like a 2/3 or 3/2 Sentinel 2-drop. I think that would take the place of Viper Probe Droid in this deck as is. So hopefully we get a couple better drops in this early game. Moving on to 3, we're using Cell Block Guard just for some Sentinel, Del Miko for Restore, and a little bit of control, making our opponent's events cost a little bit more. And then, of course, 7th Fleet Defender, which is one of the staples of yellow. 3-drop space unit, 3/2 shielded, lets you trade into 2 things an opponent has in space. So against those pesky aggro decks that are using, red 3, A-wing, etc. You can trade into 3 things, or sorry, 2 things there, potentially 3 if you trade into an A-wing, which is great. And then we're hitting our first events in the 3 cost. So we're using Power of the Dark Side, which is an opponent chooses a unit and they must defeat that unit. Really good if they only have 1 unit on the board, obviously, right? But we have a decent amount of control, and we don't really care about our units, so we can trade into everything except what we want to kill a lot of the time. So I find good value in this card. And then I'm using 3 Make an Opening, which is give a unit -2/-2, and then heal 2 damage from your base. All around, just solid control card there. A little bit of heal, and you can also possibly kill a unit that only has 2 health left. Turn 4, we're rocking Lieutenant Childson and the System Patrolcraft. So Patrolcraft is just a 3/4 space unit with Sentinel. Not bad. Childson is a Sentinel, but you have to reveal blue cards to give him experience tokens. Now, I'm not full-blown on the blue side, but I still typically can reveal 2 blue cards here. Inferno 4 helps us find more blue cards before this as well. So if you can reveal 2, a 4-drop 4/4 Sentinel is good. Ultimately, like I said, if I could swap out the Probe Droid for another blue 2-drop, which you could do now too, or any other couple extra blue cards, I would like this just a tiny bit better. But I still think he's worth it because just a 4/4 for 4 is good. Obviously, if you can reveal 3 blue cards, he's really good. And then for 4 as well, we're running Takedown, which is maybe one of the best removal cards in the game. It defeats a unit with 5 or less remaining HP. Doesn't say non-leader. It doesn't say any restriction at all. It just has to have 5 or less HP. So really, really strong removal card. We want to run 3 of those. So this is where the deck gets a little bit weird. I'm running 3 Gideon Hask. And he is, when an enemy is defeated, I can give an experience token to a friendly unit. He's a 5/5. Really interesting and weird card. But I have taken the stance of, okay, if I'm going to be removing a lot of opponents' units with control, and with my events and with my units, because my units I don't really care other than just trading into their units, then giving experience tokens would be great. The other thing I'm thinking about is the big thing with Boba Green is the turn 5 swing, right? You can deploy Boba. He's a 4/7 on 5, which is hard to deal with. Then you can attack with him, ready resources if you've killed something before, or if it's Boba Green, you can essentially ECL, so Energy Conversion Lab, which is their rare base, which lets you ambush in another unit. You get another unit down, they can swing, they can kill something, and lots of synergy on turn 5. So at turn 5, I've really enjoyed is Gideon, Hask, and Boba. So you can play Hask, play Boba, attack with Boba, kill something, ready some resources, get an experience token on Boba or on Hask. Either way, it's really strong. But if Boba can get consistently bigger, that's great. And then going into turn 6, you'll probably have a nice big event to play, or if not, you'll have the Fire Spray coming down ready, which can kill a unit that turn. Or you could play the Bounty Hunter crew, which could ambush and kill something as soon as it's played. So right away, you're already threatening more destruction, which can give us more experience tokens quickly. So I've really enjoyed that. I jumped a little bit ahead with the 6 drops, but obviously those are the 2 I'm talking about. The Bounty Hunter crew lets us dig back an event. Hasn't been my favorite card in this deck. Our events are a bit expensive. I think it's better with cheaper events, so I might drop him at some point. Fett's Fire Spray, absurd. When played, comes in ready because we control Boba Fett. Has an action to exhaust a non-unique unit for 2 resources. Doesn't even exhaust this unit. It's a 5/6 for 6. It's just really, really good. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer. But the rest of 5 is 2 Vanquish, which is defeat a non-leader unit, so no stipulation on the unit. And then, other than have to be a not leader. And then Bosk. Bosk is great. We have some events, not a plethora of them, so you're not going to get all of his 2 damage off a ton. Even if you get it once or twice, he's super worth it. 4/5 with Ambush, get instant removal, which is great. Toward the end, we're running Count Dooku, who has removal on play, and he's shielded, and he's a 7/4, and we're running 1 Super Laser Blast as our oh crap button, panic switch, kind of hit this and blow up the board. So it's a heavy control deck, but it can kind of swing into like a late game mid-range deck as well. So Boba Fett can get extremely large with Gideon Hask on board. Gideon Hask could get him extremely large himself. And then turn 8, you could drop down Fett's Fire Spray, or turn 7 or turn 6, whatever turn you want to. You could drop Fett's Fire Spray ready. It's a 5 attack unit from space. If you're winning ground really hard, but you're losing space, you could still just use Fett's Fire Spray to hit base to try to finish off the race that way. Lots of options, lots of decent amount of Sentinel that we're packing with these 3 units in the middle here with Cell Block Guard, Lieutenant, and System Patrol Craft. And I'm just excited to see where this deck goes and this archetype goes coming up in the future. I think it's a really fun one, and hopefully I can add some more toys to this. If you guys make any edits on this deck, as always, let me know in the comments. I want to hear what you guys are changing up. I want to build the deck with the community, as always. Like I said, my current thought is Viper Probe Droid and Bounty Hunter Crew are kind of my flex cards. Not 100% sure I need them, and I probably want a few more blue cards in this deck. So that's where my thought has been right now. So you can take that and run with it and let me know what you guys come up with. All right, guys, I appreciate you sticking around for the deck tech. Subscribe to the channel for plenty more janky, weird decks, and just keep on swinging.